Good morning, Pastor Jeff. Our semi-continuous daily readings comes from Psalms 119, 49 through 65, Deuteronomy 6, 10 through 25, and John chapter 11, verses 45 through 57. And I don't think that I said today is Wednesday, October 7th. So let us hear the readings for today. Our Psalm 119. Remember what you said to me, your servant. I hang on to those words for dear life. These words hold me up in bad times. Yes, your promise rejuvenates me. The insolent ridicule me without mercy. But I don't budge from your revelation. I watch for your ancient landmark words and know I'm on the right track. But when I see the wicked ignore your direction, I'm beside myself with anger. I set your instruction to music and sing them as I walk this pilgrim way. I meditate on your name all night, God, treasuring your revelation, O God. Still, I walk through a rain of derision because I live by your word and counsel. Our Old Testament reading today is Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 10 through 25. When God, your God, ushers you into the land that he promised through your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to give you, you're going to walk into large, bustling cities that you didn't build, well-furnished houses that you didn't buy, come upon wells that you didn't dig, and vineyards and olive orchards that you didn't plant. When you take it all and settle down, pleased and content, make sure that you don't forget how you got there. God brought you out of slavery in Egypt. Deeply respect God, your God. Serve and worship him exclusively. Back up your promises with his name only. Don't fool around with other gods, the gods of your neighbors, because God, your God, who is alive among you, is a jealous God. Don't provoke him, igniting his hot anger that would burn you right off the face of the earth. Don't push God, your God, to the wall as you did that day at Massah, the testing place. Carefully keep the commandments of God, your God, all the requirements and the regulations that he gave you. Do what is right. Do what is good in God's sight so that you'll live a good life and be able to march in and take this pleasant land so that God so solemnly promised through your ancestors, throwing out your enemies left and right, exactly as God said. The next time that your child asks you, what do these requirements and regulations and rules that God, our God, have commanded mean? Tell your child, we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, and God powerfully intervened and got us out of that country. We stood there and watched as God delivered miracle signs, great wonders, and evil visitations on Egypt, on Pharaoh and his household. He pulled us out of there so he could bring us here and give us the land he so solemnly promised to our ancestors. That's why God commanded us to follow all the rules so that we would live reverently before God, our God, as he gives us this good life, keeping us alive for a long time to come. It will be set right and put together life for us if we make sure that we do this entire commandment in the presence of God, our God, just as he commanded us to do. Our New Testament reading today comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 11, verses 45 through 57. The man who creates God signs. That was a turnaround for many of the Jews who were with Mary. They saw what Jesus did and believed in him. But some went back to the Pharisees and told on Jesus. The high priest and Pharisees called a meeting of the Jewish ruling body. What do we do now? They asked. This man keeps on doing things and creating God signs. If we let him go on, pretty soon everyone will be believing in him, and the Romans will come and remove what little power and privilege that we still have. Then one of them, it was Caiaphas, the designated chief priest that year, spoke up. Don't you know anything? Can't you see that it's to our advantage that one man dies for the nation rather than the whole nation be destroyed? He didn't say this on his own accord, but as chief priest that year, he unwittingly prophesied that Jesus was about to die sacrificially for the nation. And not only for the nation, but so that all God's exiled, scattered children might be gathered together into his people. From that day on, they plotted to kill him. So Jesus no longer went out in public among the Jews. He withdrew into the country, bordering the desert, to a town called Ephraim, and secluded himself there with his disciples. The Jewish Passover was coming up. Crowds of people were making their way from the country up to Jerusalem. There was a lot of talk of him among those standing around in the temple. What do you think? Do you think he'll show up at the feast or not? Meanwhile, the high priest and the Pharisees gave out the word that anyone getting wind of him should inform them. They were all set to arrest him. And there ends our 3 readings for the day.